Okay, today we're going to study SD 45.17 Tika Agapasada Sutta. The three discourse on the foremost faith, IT 90. Here the reference is IT 90. IT is Itivuttaka, Sutta number 90. Now Itivuttaka is a very special collection of Buddha's teachings recorded by a lady. This is very interesting because in the whole collection of Buddhist teachings, this particular book, it's not a very thick book, it's one of the 15 books in the fifth collection. It is, we can say, this lady, she's not a lady, but she's a hunchback. She's the servant of the queen, and she would go every day to listen to the Buddha's teaching and then come back and relay the teachings to the queen, because the queen is not allowed to leave the palace. So this is one of the suttas that she learned. It's a short sutta. It's a very it's a meditative sutra actually. It's a sutta according to Buddha Ghosha in the Visuddhimagga. He says that this sutta is actually a reflection on peace, or a recollection on peace, or mindfulness of peace, if you like. Upasama no sati. Upasama is also a word for nirvana. In other words, we reflect on this teaching and feel peaceful about it. And this teaching talks about three kinds of faith, in other words. In simple terms, Buddhist faith means you feel happy inside you, happy by recollecting something which is peaceful, something spiritual. In this case, of course, we have what are called the three jewels, or the three aspects of the Buddha's teaching. There are only three items here. Okay, so here we have the Buddha, and then the Dhamma and the Sangha. So we have two more suttas. The Chattuka Agapasada Sutta, where there are four teachings, so there are four items there. One more quality is the Noble Eightfold Path. And there's one more, there are five qualities, A5.32, taught to Princess Chundi. And there are four qualities. So once you see the many qualities, usually the short one is the oldest. So we can say this Itivuttaka Sutta must be the oldest of the three. Generally speaking, of course, all these suttas are very ancient, and this particular one is interesting because it's short and very sweet for reflection. Let's go straight into the sutta now. The translation is on page 163. Three discourse on the foremost faith, IT 90. This was indeed spoken by the Blessed One, spoken by the Arhat worthy one, thus have I heard. So once we see this line, it is spoken by this lady called Gujutara, and she's the one reporting, if you like. So she heard this from the Buddha. There are bhikshus are the monks. There's three kinds of foremost faith. Right? So here we're talking about foremost faith, not just ordinary faith, but foremost. That means this kind of faith is the most wonderful, the most profitable, the most liberating kind of faith that we can have. It is definitely not blind faith. It is the kind of faith that frees our mind, frees our heart, frees us from suffering. So, what are the three? Asked the Buddha. Number one, bhikshus, as far as there are beings, living beings, whether legless, two-legged, four-legged, many-legged, whether form or formless, in other words, whether they have form or they are without form, whether conscious, unconscious, or neither conscious nor non-conscious. And so here again we have different levels of beings. There are conscious beings like us. Unconscious beings, there's only one kind of being, the asanya satta. These are those who have meditated deeply and then they pass away, and the consciousness totally stops in that existence, and the moment a single thought rises, they are reborn from there. So these are the non-conscious or unconscious beings, if you like, and neither conscious nor non-conscious. This is the highest level of meditation which those who are not Buddhists can reach, and this is another of the different levels of formless jhana. So here what the Buddha is saying, whatever beings there are, whether they are human beings or non-humans or different levels of meditation, that is to say, the Tathagata, worthy one, the fully self-awakened, in other words the Buddha, is declared to be the foremost amongst them. Bhikshus, those who have faith in the Buddha, have faith in the foremost of beings, and those who have faith in the foremost win the foremost fruit. Right, so here this is the first object of faith is the Buddha. So here, what does this mean? See, the Buddha is a living being who has attained the highest level of wisdom and awakening and is free from suffering. In other words, let's say within this certain period of life on earth or in the universe, the most evolved being, living being, even beyond the gods, beyond the heavens, that being is called the Buddha. And if we have faith in this kind of person, in other words, we take him as an ideal of awakening, we practice so that we also can attain that kind of state. It's a mental cultivation afterwards. This is done through meditation. If we have that faith, then we definitely will, we are on the path to gaining something truly wonderful, and it's the best thing that we can do as a living being. Then number 2, bhikshus, as far as there are truths, conditioned or unconditioned, this passion is said to be the foremost amongst them. Okay, now go a little deeper. This time, the first quality is a teacher, second quality is the teaching. So what kind of teaching is the best we can have faith in? So here notice the Buddha says there are two kinds of truth, conditioned truth, unconditioned truth. Conditioned truth, in other words, are worldly truth, teachings taught by worldly people, teachings to the unawakened, by the unawakened. Then there is unconditioned truth. This is the kind of truth we can't really talk about. We can try, but it's something you must experience directly for yourself. Here there's only one so-called unconditioned truth, that is nirvana. Nirvana is the end of all suffering. Now I can mention this, but what does it mean? So we have to experience all this for ourselves. A very simple example might give us some idea. Let's say we feel very unhappy or feel very angry, and then we realize that actually there's no reason to be upset, to be angry. And we're very happy, maybe we hear some happy words, and that anger, that unhappy state goes away, and we feel very happy. That negative state has gone nowhere, so to speak, but we feel very happy. The disappearance of that pain, the feeling of that joy where there's no thoughts trouble us, that is an idea of nirvana. That's the closest we can in terms of language and our own experience, have a good idea what nirvana is like, a wonderful peace. Remember, the Buddha Ghosha quotes this sutta as Upasamanusati, recollection on peace. So this is an example. So here dispassion means letting go of all attachments to things. You're totally happy and free. It's just like you have eaten a good meal. You're so full, you're so happy, you can't eat anymore, you don't feel like eating anymore, you don't need any more food, you're happy, it's all done. So you have no more passion for it, you have no more desire for it. That's the meaning here. So you're totally free, liberated. That is the meaning here. So the mind is free from all suffering and pain and so on. So here that the Buddha continues, he says, that is to say, the crushing of intoxication. Here intoxication has two meanings. One ordinary meaning, of course, is to take drinks, get intoxicated. And once we are intoxicated, we lose control of our minds and all our faculties. It's the worst thing that we can do to the mind. Then even someone who's not drunk can still be intoxicated with views. In other words, get carried away, get overwhelmed by views, get caught up with. Usually there are three things. One is with the idea that I am young, so I can do whatever I like. Okay? That kind of idea of intoxication with youth. Number two, the person may say, well, no, I'm not only young, I'm so healthy, so I can do what I like. Right? So this is the intoxication with health. And the third one is some people think, I can live very long, and so this is, I may even live forever, because I believe in a certain religion. So this got intoxication with life. Now these three things, unfortunately, there are three opposites which are more real. In other words, if we talk about intoxication with youth, there is what's called decay. From the moment we are born, we decay, we become old. Number two, there is the truth of disease, sickness. No matter how healthy we are, we will somehow be either physically sick, if not mentally sick. There'll be some kind of negative emotion. Even anger is regarded as a sickness. Number three, there is death. Nobody can escape death. So these are the three Ds: decay, disease, death, which are the opposite of the three intoxication. So in other words, when we understand the nature of the mind, we let go of all these intoxications and we're not troubled by them. Then there is the removing of thirst. Thirst here refers to craving, craving for eternal life, craving through wrong views and so on. And then there is the uprooting of attachment. We are not attached to our views especially. And by doing so, there is the cutting off of the cycles of life and death. We are no more caught up with life and death, samsara, suffering. And the destruction of craving, dispassion, cessation, nirvana. So step by step, as we let go, number one, of craving and hatred, liking, disliking, there is dispassion. In other words, totally letting go of all things of the world, even things beyond the world. And there is this cessation, is ending of suffering, and there is nirvana. It's just like an onion, You peel the onions layer by layer, removing the skin. In the end, when everything is peeled, there's nothing. But to say nothing also is not correct about nirvana. It is simply the fire has gone out, the fire has gone nowhere, there's no more suffering. Bhikshus, those who have faith in the truth of dispassion, have faith in the foremost truth. And those who have such a faith win the foremost fruit. So if you believe and understand that there is this truth which can free the mind, then you will gain that kind of fruit also. So in other words, what limits us are our beliefs and views. So if we learn to let go of these beliefs and views and go on understanding the nature of the mind, then we find this highest truth. Then the third and last quality, bhikshus, as far as there are sanghas or groups, the Sangha of the Tathagata's disciples is said to be the foremost of them. So here, this Sangha refers to the community of those who have attained certain levels of awakening, the stream winner, once returner, non-returner, and Arahat. So there the sutta continues. That is to say, the four pairs of persons, the 8 individuals, the Sangha of disciples of the Blessed One is worthy of offerings, worthy of hospitality, worthy of gifts, worthy of salutation with the lotus palms, a supreme field of merit for the world. These are the qualities of the Sangha. Bhikshus, those who have faith in the Sangha, have faith in the foremost group. And those who have such faith win the foremost fruit. Right? So here, Sangha means those who see the Buddha as the ideal, they have practiced the teaching that the Buddha has taught, they themselves have found the answer, they have awakened. So we have faith in this kind of possibility that there are such people, such beings, and by our own practice and liberation, we also can attain that state or join the community, if you like. This is not changing our hairstyle, putting on robes. That is called a conventional sangha. This is a spiritual sangha. The spiritual sangha means you can be a layman or a monk, but you, because of your awakening, you are part of that sangha, not through rituals or ceremony or joining a group, through your own practice. It's something you do alone by yourself and attain that liberation, and then you are naturally part of this wonderful sangha, this Arya Sangha, this noble sangha, in other words. These bhikshus are the three kinds of foremost faith. This is the meaning of what the Blessed One said. The meaning here is spoken thus, and then there is the version of it, which I will read to you, the verse, and then just translate for you. The verses of the foremost. Agatto ve pasananang agam dhammang vijanatang age buddhe pasananang dakin na ye anuttare. For those with faith in the foremost, knowing the foremost truth of the Dharma, faithful in the Buddha, the foremost, peerless, worthy of gifts. Age dhamme pasananang viga rupa same sukhe age sanghe pasananang punya kete anuttare. For those with faith in the Dharma, in the joy of the peace that is dispassion, for those with faith in the foremost Sangha, the supreme field of merit. Agasming danan dadatang agang punyang pawadati agang ayu cha vanno cha yaso kiti sukang balang. For those giving gifts to the foremost of merits grow. The foremost by way of life and beauty, fame, glory, happiness, strength. Agatsadatta medavi agadhamma samahito deva bhuto manusoa agapato amodati ti. Wise giver of the foremost to the foremost, mentally subtle on the foremost state, having become a deva or a human, rejoices having attained to the foremost. So this teaching is meant for the unawakened. In other words, how when they practice dana, they also build up some wonderful karmic qualities that can help them to live moral lives, which in turn become the basis. In other words, moral virtue. And the meditation become the giving, the moral virtue become the basis for mental cultivation. This matter too was spoken by the Blessed One, thus have I heard. So this is a short reflection on the sutta. A longer one has been given earlier on in this same volume, and the title is which number is it? Chattuka Agapasara Sutta A4.34, that is in SD 45.13. So you can listen to these two talks together. So now let us close with a short reflection. While we still have human life and our minds are clear, these are wonderful opportunities for us to learn the Buddha's teaching, to practice mental cultivation, meditation, so that we learn to be at peace with ourselves. Because from peace comes wisdom, and wisdom is what helps us to do things right in life, to overcome suffering, and to be really happy in the true sense of the word. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma. By the power of such karma, may we be well and happy even here and now. And may we be empowered with courage to aspire to attain spiritual liberation, at least as strict winners in this life itself. In this moment of peace, let us send out our loving kindness to all the beings here, to everyone here, that they may be well and happy. And also to our loved ones and people we care for, that they may be well and happy too. And also to all those beings and people whom the Dharma have not touched, that they may see the Dharma in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.